Hi, everyone. This is Daniel Scranton. I'm here with Samantha Vade. We're having another conversation here about channeling. And this topic is about what typically happens when someone starts channeling. And Samantha, you're relatively new to the experience yourself. So I'm sure you'll have plenty to say about the experience of being sort of a young channeler or new to channeling.
Yeah, for sure. Can I sort of start while this is like fresh in my memory and bringing back memories like 7 months ago. But I personally felt that I could always do it, like I could always do it. But something you touched on the previous session that whether it's past life stuff that you is sort of you fear of persecution or just fear of speaking up. I just felt even from the get-go, there were things trying to talk to me and coming through, and I just would not let it come through, almost to the point of being very shy. And then owning up to you saying, Daniel, once our sessions finish, I mean, I'm channeling. I was always able to do it. But then you get into that state of once your mind gets into play, you think, okay, was that me? Was that me just like playing games, or was that something trying to channel? But you know the difference because it's such free flowing. It's almost for me like an out of body experience. You know that something's talking to you, but you know the difference from when your mind normally speaks to you to when somebody else speaks to you. It's such an incredible experience because I've had sessions with you where two people have come through, like Princess Isis and Saint
Mhm.
Germain, and the energy is so different. And that's how I know that and even you said that once to me, that you could clearly tell that the way I was speaking was so different. One was really forceful, like this powerful, like Princess Isis, and Saint Germain is just loving and it's just a joy. And I also had that question that I want to throw back to you before I forget, but it's like, why are we drawn to certain people? Because I had no real knowledge of Saint Germain or Princess Isis, but they started coming through, and I just started to develop a real love for them. And they were just coming through even more. And even when the sessions I would do with you, and I'd ask, could you do a channeling for me? And you would say, is there any preference of who you'd like for me to channel? And I don't know, I would always just say Saint Germain, not realizing, not having a connection with him, but that was always the first thought that would come through. So I'd love to know, do you know the reason to that?
Well, I can say for myself, like as someone who's channeled the Arcturians now for 8 years and is known for channeling them, I don't have any earthly idea why I decided, oh, I should start channeling Arcturians. I don't know where the inclination came from. I know that typically what would happen with me is I'd get that kind of hit, that intuitive hit to move in a direction, but then I'd wait and I'd wait sometimes months before I'd actually do it. And then once I did it, I just started to really like what was coming through and decided to stick with them. But there's like a different story for so many of the different beings I channeled, like with Ophelia the fairy, just kind of feeling like curious about fairies and could I do it? And it seems like they're around, so let me try. And then the Hathors just coming sort of out of the blue. Only had heard of one person who'd ever channeled the Hathors before, so wasn't super familiar with them. Archangel Michael just coming to me in the middle of a retreat and coming through me, and then me going, okay, I guess I'm supposed to channel you. And then other times people asked me, like somebody asked me to channel Saint Germain once, and I did. And I thought, and that same person or somebody else maybe asked me to channel Metatron. It was the same feeling like, okay, I don't know if I can do this, but let me try. And then once I do, I really like the experience. So I've had like three different experiences with it where like the creators just came. I think those were the ones that I was just like contracted to channel. And then sometimes other people would ask me to do it. And then sometimes they would come without me even asking for them specifically. The Hathors, the founders are two that the Zetas, the Quaranthians, Kuan Yin started coming to me in a series of synchronicities that led me to think like, okay, maybe I should be channeling you now because you keep coming to me in all these strange ways. So it's a difficult question to answer because I do think there are these pre-birth contracts and pre-existing relationships, and then other things just kind of unfold in that not so random, very synchronistic way that things happen to us when we're awake and aware of these types of synchronicities.
Because you see with channelers, some will only channel one kind of being, and then you've got someone like you that's so unique that seems to be channeling everybody. But do you think then, as somebody that's learning or somebody at my stage, that I could literally then just call in anybody that I wanted to channel if I wanted to have an experience with Archangel Michael or whoever? I could just, is that how easy it could be the minute you kind of set that intention, they're there? Is that your understanding?
It's my experience that that's true. And at the same time, I don't always feel like the connection is as strong with some beings than as opposed to others. So I tend to want to channel the ones that feel like the connection is really there and it feels really legitimate to me. And then other times I'm like, well, I don't know. After doing it, I'll go like, well, yeah, I guess that was them. I don't know. But then you get these weird confirmations too when you start channeling different beings. Like with Ophelia, a guy a year ago comes along and tells me that he also channels Ophelia the fairy and that he's been channeling her for longer than I have, and that she told him that I was channeling her too. So then I go, okay, I guess it's legit, because like I didn't pay that guy to say that to me. He just said it, but it certainly is nice to get that confirmation. But the other thing I wanted to touch upon in this video is like, so you start having these experiences, and here's some of the experiences the typical new channeler has: tingling sensations, a lot of times in the crown, sometimes in the neck, in the throat, or anywhere, heat sensation or cold sensation in the body, herky jerky kind of ticks and quick movements like that. And then also more flowy movements where your body just starts doing these things, and and my arms and hands, they still go up, and I do this mudra and this flippy thing with my fingers. And it's all very much like just happening in the body, and you're letting it happen. Hopefully you're not getting freaked out by it. You're saying, okay, this is good. I know this is good because what I did leading up to it is good, like meditating or doing a channeling exercise or sitting in nature, having fun or being in a hot tub or whatever it is you're doing. And then all of a sudden you're feeling this like flow of energy in your body and starts moving it around. So that typically happens. And when that happens to the new channeler, that is channeling. You've already started to channel, because if there wasn't an energy present, you wouldn't be feeling something or moving around in that way. So then most people think, well, the channeling starts when I start to speak. But then the other thing, and this is new, is so many of my students are saying, I'm getting images, faces, colors, sacred geometry, all this stuff in my mind's eye. And it's just flooding in. And color purple is very common in that one. So those are some of the early signs of channeling that people have. And I'm
I
sure you have some, right?
Yeah, I would definitely just you speaking again, it's that relationship, because they're so similar to when I do the energy healing. To the point when I used to do channeling with you in the early stages, how it was so off-putting because suddenly halfway through when you would start a meditation with me, my top of the crown would just suddenly start like itching, like it would just like be somebody like tickling and it wouldn't stop, to the point that it was getting like, can you just stop? Because I'm trying to concentrate. And then once, even when I was in the stage of not had the confidence to speak, my body would just not stop wriggling. So you literally just think, what the hell's going on? Like nothing's coming out. But for months, it was just this crazy, like it was just obsessed, like came out of nowhere. The tingling, it was so intense. And then the body would just be like, why am I doing this? Can you just keep still? But I didn't realize, no, that's just part of it. And I think finally the actual speaking comes last. I think that's what you're kind of saying. It's the body that kind of does its own thing. And this is the
Mhm.
last, well, I can only speak for me. This was the last thing that actually came, was the actual speaking, that the body was giving out signs the whole time, from January. So yeah, it seems like we're all going through the same experience and hopefully get
Yeah.
to the same goal. Daniel, again, I love that. I love that so much. That was such a great video. Thank you so much. And I know we're going to delve deeper later on, so I'm going to look forward to that too. So cheers, Daniel. Thank you.